and will be on our website, along with some information that Ronnie's going to provide to us that you can review. Ronnie Fortunato is a nutritionist with more than 15 years of experience. She began her career at Montefiore Hospital as an inpatient and outpatient dietitian, and also worked as a nutritionist in adult medical day treatment and HIV day treatment and housing. She worked in research on the Women's Intervention Nutrition Study and as the administrator of the Clinical Nutrition Research Unit at the Strang Cancer Prevention Center and Weill Cornell Medical College. Currently, as a nutritionist at God's Love We Deliver, Ronnie assesses and counsels clients with cancer, HIV and AIDS, multiple sclerosis, end-stage renal disease, as well as over 200 life-altering medical conditions. Recently, she was appointed to the New York City HIV Planning Council as a volunteer, where she helps ensure that people living with HIV have access to and maintain appropriate quality services across the continuum of care, resulting in the best possible health and quality of life. I'm delighted that she's with us today to provide to you some information about how to eat healthily during this holiday season. Ronnie, take it away.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thanks. And can you see my slides? Can you see the presentation? Okay, very good. So today, as Erin said, we're going to talk about celebrating the holidays healthfully, and I'm going to give you some tools to do so. I tried not to include too many slides because I think at the end we would really just like to make this a discussion, and I would just really like to I would just really like to help everybody or anybody who wants to to make use of these tools. So hopefully we can get into a discussion. And before I start, I would just like to tell you that I am from God's Love We Deliver. Many of you know us, and our basic goal is to cook and prepare medically tailored meals for people living in the greater New York metropolitan area, living with severe illness. And meals are free to clients and full of love. And I have to say that it really is true. We really try to go about our work with real consciousness of who we are serving. So it is my pleasure to speak to you today, and with that in mind. So today we'll just be talking about, in context of the holidays, we'll be talking about lifestyle challenges, goals and motivations. We'll be talking about creating SMART goals. Then we'll just talk briefly about our strategies for cancer prevention, keeping those in mind for the holidays. And then again, eating healthfully during the holidays and staying motivated. And I would like to just hold questions for the end. And again, I do hope that we get into a discussion. So, excuse me, but some people love this time of year. There's a lot of celebration going on. There's love, family, friends, there's joy, renewal, fun, the many good things go along with the holidays. On the other hand, there are some challenges that are associated with the holidays, and these can be very concerning, especially if you're dealing with an illness. So many might be worried about eating the wrong food, or overeating and weight gain. Just a little statistic here, but on Thanksgiving Day, the average American consumes 4,500 calories. So that's a lot of calories. Some other holiday challenges can be physical inactivity, sadness, loneliness, and also social exhaustion. And kind of sometimes we just feel so much pressure to get everything done, and so that can weigh on us too. So we're going to focus today, though, on the first three, but you can apply whatever we talk about today to everything else. So first we'll talk about our goals and motivations. And so it's a good idea really to plan your trip ahead. So meaning planning for the holidays. And so this is key, and just anticipating our challenges can make us prepare more to face them, and then just really enjoy ourselves without the guilt that kind of comes on, or that can come on with the holidays. So so similar to planning a trip, it's important to think about where you want to go and how to get there, what barriers you might face and how you can get around them, and keeping track of what you're doing and finding ways to stay motivated. So I'm going to talk today about SMART goals. And, you know, I am laughing a little bit to myself. Anybody who has any experience, probably in any sort of organization, knows about SMART goals. So certainly I know about SMART goals. I have to apply them, you know, or I'm supposed to apply them in my work. And, you know, sometimes it feels like, let me just do my work. But the truth is they can be really helpful, and it's just not so different from the way we think otherwise. So if the holidays are times when we tend to overindulge, we can also think about the holidays as a time to add positive changes to our lifestyle. So both in our dietary and also our activity habits. And for people who feel on track, you can come out of the holidays feeling renewed, happy, and energized. But also, if you would like to make changes during the holidays, or changes, period, you can think of the holidays as a time to plant the seed. And you know, you can just become aware of what you want, what needs to happen for you to get there, and excuse me, and just making a place to begin, and it's by stating in a clear and specific manner what your goals are for the holidays. So so let me just go on to the next slide. So so here are SMART goals. So SMART goals need to be they need to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time sensitive. So in terms of specificity, we can, you know, we should decide exactly what it is we want to accomplish, learn to do, and then express it in specific terms. And in terms of measurable, how will you know when you've achieved your goal? So you have to figure out a way to measure your success. Are they achievable? You want to set yourself up for success, but reach high if you want, but not impossibly high. And then in terms of realism, you can state what results can be achieved realistically given your available skills, knowledge, and most importantly, resources. And then time sensitive. So set a target date for completion. And milestone dates can also be useful along the way. So we're going to get into those a little bit later, but I do want you to keep those in mind. And again, these are, as I, you know, again, I laugh to myself. If anybody here has had to do, for example, their self-evaluations using SMART goals, you know, sometimes we'd rather not, but they can, like I said, they can be very helpful. So we're just going to switch gears a little bit here, and then we will get back to our SMART goals. So, you know, we have some strategies that are, these are just general strategies. And I think, I know myself and others from God's Love We Deliver have presented to you. And we just talk about strategies for cancer prevention. So we talk about, you know, we talk about diet, and we talk also about physical activity. So, so in terms of diet, what you're looking at here is a model plate, and basically the model plate is showing mostly plant-based foods, or that's what we're trying to do. So we have about 2/3 of our plate with plant-based foods, such as we have nuts, we have vegetables, we have fruits, but also we have excuse me, we also have beans or legumes, same thing for the most part. And, those are very important and really very useful in terms of an overall healthful diet, but also in terms of cancer prevention. And also when we talk about cancer prevention, we're talking also about preventing recurrence. And so we know that a healthy diet is one that lowers our cancer risk and should, again, revolve around plant foods. And these foods tend to be low in calories, so they're also full of fiber and water. So they tend to keep us feeling fuller for a longer period of time. And they also provide a wide range of nutrients, so vitamins and minerals, as well as phytochemicals, which are naturally occurring compounds in plants that have health promoting effects. So phytos means plant. So these are just plant chemicals. And oftentimes we have defined them, and that's, that's a different presentation. But these are things, so they're not vitamins or minerals, but they are other chemicals found in plants. And so let's see, I just want to think of some examples right now, but one is lycopene, which many of you have probably heard of, and it's derived actually from the red pigments in many things, but tomato is a good example of a source of lycopene. And then we have another one, and we have photos of some grapes there, but we have resveratrol, which is a compound found in grapes. It's thought to be cancer preventive. So, and then we also want to make, so we talked about 2/3 of our plate being plant-based, and then we have another third left, and we want to make that, we can make that animal protein, but we want to make that low-fat animal protein. And just a reminder that that plants also do contain fats, but for the most part, they are more healthy fats, such as oils. So, for example, olive oil is a very good example of saturated fat. I'm sorry, of a monounsaturated fat. So that is a healthful fat. And then in the animal proteins, even though they're lean, we find saturated fat in animal proteins. So, that's thought to be, saturated fat is thought to be fairly detrimental to human health. And again, that's found in animal proteins. So we want to keep our sources of animal proteins on the low side. So you see some lean beef, and you see a turkey, and then some fish. And so, of course, with poultry, you want to try to go for the for the white meat, not the dark meat, and try to avoid the skin, etc. So, excuse me. Now, also, we want to talk about physical activity, and regular physical activity can keep hormone levels healthy, can strengthen the immune system. It provides benefits to the digestive system, and it also prevents weight gain. And so it can lower your regular physical activity can lower your cancer risk in several ways, because, just to repeat what we just said, some hormones can increase cancer risk if their levels get too high. Again, being active can strengthen the immune system. Now, the effects on the digestive system come possibly because regular exercise or physical activity helps speed potentially harmful substances so it helps speed everything through the digestive tract. So potentially harmful substances do not linger there. And then, with regard to weight gain, physical activity is important because too much body fat can increase the risk for several types of cancer. So also now limiting the time that we sit is also helpful. And so, some people say sitting is the new smoking. Not that bad, but we always want to try to get up during the day. If anybody has an exercise band or an Apple Watch or anything like that, they can, like, they'll ping you sometimes and tell you it's time to stand. But it is a good idea really to stand throughout the day. Even if you're working or whatever you're doing. If you're home and you might be doing some light housework, that kind of automatically gets us standing. And then now research shows that getting at least 30 minutes of moderate physical activity during the day lowers cancer risk. So being active can reduce the risk for endometrial, breast, and colorectal cancers. So you want to just find activities to be active during the holidays, or you can start a new activity that you can keep up throughout the year. And even though we're thinking of Hanukkah and Christmas, and we're thinking a lot about those eating holidays right now. We do have after Christmas and Kwanzaa, then we have New Year's, and a lot of people like to make their resolutions at that time. So it's a good time to think about all of that. And so in terms of healthy eating and also finding opportunities to be active. You might think that at this time of the year, it's not so easy to be active because it's cold, but there are plenty of winter activities, including like these folks we see just kind of taking a walk in the snow. Now, we want to talk about staying motivated. So we want to ask ourselves, what motivates us to eat healthfully? So think about goals, what it is that we want for ourselves, and what is not good for you in terms of previous holidays or experiences. So think about, I know myself, I can think about my, maybe my 5 pounds of weight gain that kind of comes about every Christmas season. And even if I don't overdo it on Christmas, it just seems like it's just a time, it's the time of year when like there's just so much going on. There can be office parties, et cetera, and it sort of gives us permission in a way to really overdo it. So we can think about what we want to do or what we want to limit for ourselves. And then what is our motivation? So staying motivated is really needed to be able to achieve our goals. And staying motivated means staying involved. So I would just, I would just talk a little bit right now about just be mindful of what you're doing. So we want to try to avoid that, again, I'm just going to talk about myself, but we can avoid, or I can avoid that sort of mindless eating that can come along with the holidays. There's just so much food around all the time. So we want to be mindful of that. But right now, we're going to go back to our SMART goals. And so again, so we want to set our healthy goals, and just a reminder that SMART goals are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're realistic, and they're time sensitive. So let's just try to think about, let's try to think in a positive way about what we want to accomplish over the holidays and review these in a specific way. So, so think about a concrete situation that could happen to you. It may have happened in the past, and think about how you would deal with it every day. So let's talk about, you know, I don't know how many are in an office setting, but again, the holidays just bring a lot of food around. So think about somebody, you know, who might stop by the house and bring donuts or cupcakes, and they're bringing it, you know, it's coming by quite frequently. Like maybe somebody where several people are stopping by a few times a week and they're bringing cupcakes or donuts. So, so what, you know, you might set up a reward for yourself for not overindulging. So maybe on the first day you might have one cupcake, but then choose something that you like a movie, a book, or some quiet time. And then try to think about your why. If you don't really know the reason you want to achieve something or avoid something, you can lose motivation. But building this foundation really requires knowing your personal values and what you really want. And at a much deeper level than I want to lose weight, or even I don't want to gain weight. So, so we'll talk more about eating healthfully during the holidays. And so now we're going to go into our first SMART, or actually these are our first two SMART goals. So like instead of saying to ourselves, you know what, this year I'm going to eat more fruit, we can set a specific and measurable goal for ourselves. So instead of saying I'll eat more fruit, we'll say I'll eat 2 pieces of fruit every day. So that is, so it's specific. So it's saying 2 pieces of fruit, and it's also, you know, you're saying that you're going to do it every day. So you do have that time stamp on it, and then it's also measurable. So we can track this easily, and we can measure it. So today, or let's say even tomorrow, tomorrow is always such a good idea, a good way to start, right? So say tomorrow, I'm going to eat 2 pieces of fruit, but then every day after that, I'm going to do that. And here are some important tips for self-monitoring. So it's a key ingredient basically for success. And you know, you can be as detailed or as simple as you want. You can, for example, you can have food journal, or just a simple check mark or 2 on the calendar. Check 1, I had an orange or grapefruit with breakfast, and then check number 2 for dinner. I had some apple slices with dinner or after dinner. And then a good idea too is not to set too many goals for yourself. So you can pick out maybe 1 to 3 things you'd like to do, and then really just take it from there. And then, so now how achievable is this goal? And how confident am I that I can achieve this goal? And it's really just important to be honest with yourself. So in terms of achievability, let's say, well, let's take the fruit example, and we can say, I want to, you know, instead of saying I'm going to eat more fruit, we can say, you know, we said that we were going to eat 2 pieces of fruit every day. So do we have the tools that we can, you know, do we have the tools that we need to do this? Are we going to be able to access fruit every day? So that's the kind of thing that you want to think in terms of achievable. And then, and again, is it realistic? So again, ask yourself if you have the tools. And also, you know, going back to, again, the fruit example, we can say, well, do I have the tools? Can I get the fruit? But if you, for example, if you can't shop easily, or you know you really can't afford it, you might need to reevaluate your goal. So maybe 1 piece of fruit per day, or maybe instead of fresh fruit, which can be tough to get at this time of year. Maybe think about having canned or frozen fruit or even dried fruit. And then maybe you want to think about 2 pieces, three times a week. And then here's where we go into our final goal, which is it has to be time sensitive. So you ask yourself, when will I do this? And when will I start? And then just keep in mind that these are the holidays, not the weeks or the months. So you might work week by week, but let's just use an example. So here we are on the 5th, right? It's a weekday, and maybe we have obligations. Maybe we're going to work, or maybe we just have our week filled with doctor's appointments. So maybe we can't start tomorrow. Maybe we have to think about starting on Saturday the 9th, and we can go, we'll do some food shopping and set ourselves up. And, again, this might work. It might not work day by day, and maybe you don't want to think too far in advance, but so instead of like thinking about it as, every day for the rest of my life, you might work just week by week. So this Saturday you can go shopping, and then next Saturday, and et cetera, et cetera. You can also include in your goals, you can set up the time to go shopping for your fruit. And then again, if you work week by week, instead of thinking about every day for the rest of my life, it gives you a chance to reevaluate your goals, and it just doesn't have to seem like forever. And this is something, if you're going to a lot of holiday parties, you can do it party by party. You can say, well, I'm just going to remember that I have to eat my fruit. I may not be able to have it at the party, so I'm going to make sure I do it before I go to the party. So just remember that the goal wants to be, that the goal should be, it should be realistic as well. So that's just keeping in mind our SMART goals. So they are specific, measurable, they are, excuse me, they are, let's see, I'm going to have to go back. Okay, they're achievable, they're realistic, and time sensitive. And then we can talk a little bit about, what stops you or what hinders you. So you can think about pushy people at parties. There's mostly junk food at parties. There's tempting food, food that we don't see all the time, like all those cupcakes or donuts, or maybe some high fat food. You can think that maybe your cooking skills can prevent you from doing something else, negative thinking or lack of confidence. But then, excuse me, here are some tools that can help you with your goals. So think about what's going to help you stick with your goals. And it's important to recognize that that sticking to your goals in concrete situations are, these are things that you can work for, that can help you. So remember, what helps you might not be what helps somebody else. So you have to be, so these are just some suggestions for yourself. So here are some general tips, and you can apply these or not. And so you want to be picky with the food you eat. So for example, if you're at a party, you might want to start with vegetable dishes, salads, and fruits. Take a look at the table and plan your plate. And making your plate attractive with a variety of fruits and vegetables from an array of colors. So I'm just thinking of going to, let's say a party where there's a buffet. And so, you might want to think about doing it that way. And in terms of making your plate attractive, sometimes I see people at these buffet type things, and they're just piling everything onto their plate. But you don't have to do that. You can start out, again, you can start with some fruits and veggies, and if you're dying to go back for more, well, then you just go back for more. Or if you're going to a place where you bring a dish, where everybody's bringing a dish, then you just bring a dish that you feel good about eating. You can also plan ahead by finding out beforehand what will be served. And you can also choose where you sit or stand. So for example, you might not want to stand next to the food table. You can distract yourself with activities. You might want to go for a walk or find somebody to talk with, or you can think about topics. You can think ahead about topics and things to share other than food. And another tip for getting through these holiday affairs is just drinking lots of water. And so, that can help you in various ways because water can help you feel full, but it's also a way to avoid alcohol if you are avoiding alcohol, which is a good thing to do. We never want to overconsume, especially when you are trying to avoid cancer recurrence. You generally want to avoid alcohol or excess alcohol. And we have, we have some more things that you can think about. So you want to think about, you want to eat beforehand before you go to any of these events. And don't skip a meal just because an event is coming up. Just you might want to eat your regular meal before you go to an event, and that will keep you, will keep you full or satiated. And you might just want to stay away from the food table, and find ways to say no, and think about ways of saying no without actually saying the word no. So here are some examples. Sorry, but I don't like whatever ingredient, or sorry, I don't eat that ingredient. Maybe I've never tried it before. I'll probably live to celebrate more holidays if I stick with my diet plan. And then, or just be upfront. I want to stick to eating healthfully, or I don't want cancer to come back. If that's how you're feeling, feel free to say it. And then you can also change the topic of a conversation, and avoid people who might put you in a situation that might be hard for you to handle. And I'm thinking right this moment about sometimes you have people standing there and saying eat, but more often it's people saying drink. So you can just think ahead, try to avoid those situations. And then think about portion sizes. And you don't need to clear your plate or finish your glass. And then finally, just be mindful and ask yourself, do I really want to eat this? And am I really hungry? And if I need it, and why am I eating it? And at this point, I would just like to open this up for a discussion. If anybody has questions, or if anybody wants to put anything in the chat, if somebody wants to use a real life example, please do so. So now is the time. So do we have any questions? Would anybody like to verbally ask a question?
I have a question. Is it true that sugar is really bad for cancer?
That is, I would just say, like, that's sort of the $64,000 question. So I think that I have to equivocate on that answer. So I can't say yes or no, but sugar can be, it can have a negative effect on, for various reasons. So for example, a diet that's high or higher in sugar, can lead to weight gain, and excess weight is related to different types of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So in that regard, I would avoid eating too much sugar.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. But if you wanted to, if you want to try to set goals around that, we can do that also.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyone else? Would anybody like to try to establish SMART goals around holiday eating or drinking? Or does anybody want to put a question in the chat? I'm happy to I'm happy to wait if anybody has any questions
Someone
or
wrote,
comments.
can you eat too much fruit?
Can you eat too much fruit?
And she says she has a fruit addiction.
Oh, I see. Okay, so let's let's try to place this in terms of our SMART goals. Okay, so who was that? Oh, I think so I just see initials HB. So so let's try to go back. I'm going to just try to go back to our I just want to go back to our SMART goals. Okay, so here we are. And so HB, can we talk about can we talk about that? Can we like try to set some goals around your fruit addiction?
Sure. I just unmuted myself, if that's okay.
Yes, yes, because I want you to.
Okay.
So you talk about a fruit addiction, and it seems like you think you eat too much fruit.
I like fruit, and I'm just wondering, like, when I eat it, like if that's like in the morning, I'll have a smoothie with like a couple different, like banana, maybe dates in it, and then like for snack later, I'll have like apple. And like I seem to gravitate towards eating fruit, and I'm always like, I wonder if you can eat too much fruit, or if like fruit can uh, be bad for you, and if I should be substituting that with something else.
Well, we can talk about that, and we'll just talk about it outside of our outside of our SMART goals. But here are just some here are just some tenets basically of also eating healthfully. So so you want to try adding variety to your diet. We always want to have a diet that is that has just many different things in it. So I would just say try to vary the types of fruit that you're having. So maybe don't. I mean, I know smoothies and people always put bananas in their smoothies, but maybe vary it in terms of what else you put in it. Maybe think about putting in some. I know it's not fruit, but like if you put in a little bit of baby spinach, so you don't get like the baby spinach has, it's more delicate. The leaves and stems are not so huge. And so, you can vary it that way, and you can get some, so you're getting some additional nutrients besides what you're finding in the bananas. And so I would just say in that way to vary the types of fruit and or vegetables. Then also, if you're eating a ton of fruit, there is a concern about not getting enough protein. So I would just keep that in mind also. I would just try to make sure I get the protein that I need. And then so the other thing there is, I mean, let's say you're eating only smoothies, okay, which you didn't say you are eating only smoothies, but in that case, there's something, you could set a SMART goal around eating more protein. And it doesn't have to be animal protein, it can be plant-based protein too. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
You're
Um,
very welcome.
yeah.
And good. And then I do see another, I see another question in the chat that says, is pork considered a white meat? I'm going to say no to that. I mean, that's how it can be advertised. On the other hand, there are lean cuts of pork that you can consider. And so pork tenderloin is one of them. And so that's, it's low in fat, but it is a very tender cut of pork. So no, it's not a white meat, but there are healthful cuts of pork. And then I'm looking at another question also from Sarah. I have a sweet tooth, so I'm trying to cut back on sugar. I find that my body has adjusted somewhat and I don't crave it as much anymore. And I think that's a good comment to make because I do think that's true. Like we don't necessarily need sugar. For example, our bodies need some salt, but not necessarily sugar. I mean, we get into carbohydrates, etc. But I, but I think that like there's no need for sugar per se. And then Heather joined in by saying this is why I eat a lot of fruit because we do because having the sugar from fruit is just more beneficial. And if you're eating the whole fruit versus fruit juice, which I do recommend the whole fruit, you're getting other benefits. So you're getting, for one thing, you're getting the fiber that comes with fruit. And so it's a good idea to eat the fruit rather than drink it. But if you're making smoothies and you're just throwing everything in there, you are getting, you're getting the fiber. Then I see we have a little discussion going on in the chat about blueberries. So Sarah is saying to Heather, do you eat blueberries? It's supposed to be super antioxidant. And Heather, yes, loves blueberries. And I'm just chiming in myself by saying, yes, blueberries do have high levels of antioxidants. So if you like your blueberries, go ahead and include them in your smoothies or your holiday desserts. Any other questions, or does anybody want to try to set up a goal? Okay, so now Elizabeth is saying, my brother makes strawberry smoothies with some spinach in it, and I don't even taste the spinach. It tastes great, which is why I suggested the baby spinach, because it doesn't really take away from the flavor. And remember, a lot of these things are, you're getting a lot of water in these items. Anybody want to set up a SMART goal for themselves for the holidays?
I will.
Okay, and who are we talking to?
Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. So,
Hi.
okay, so what would you like to do?
Try to eat more salads. I do like salad.
Okay, so let's see. We're just okay. Here we do have our SMART goals here. So you want to eat more salad. So let's start with let's just talk about right now. Like how many excuse me, how many salads are you eating weekly right now?
I guess maybe not that many, like 2.
2? Okay. So do you
Yeah.
want to start by increasing salads to 4 times a week?
Yes.
Okay. So there is your so we are, we're kind of hitting our first 2 parts of the SMART goal. So we're being specific and measurable. So you want to, so we're talking about salads, and then you want to do it 4 times a week. So you're doing it now twice a week, and you're changing it to 4 times a week. So you want to eat salads. Now, do you have a specific type of salad that you like to eat?
I make a salad. I buy like super greens or something, and I put olive oil. Squeeze fresh lemon, and then I have this thing called sandwich sprinkle. It has like what's in the sandwich sprinkle? Salt, garlic, some other spices, and I sprinkle that on it, and it's good. And I have to get more tahini dressing because it was good with some tahini dressing on it.
Okay, so that all sounds good. So you're going to try to have that type of salad. So you're going to increase to 4 times a week where you're going to do that. Now, let's talk about achievability. So do you think you have do you have the materials? Like, can you get the super greens, and can you get can you are you able to, like, do you have the materials needed to have the salad 4 times a week instead of twice a week?
The salad goes bad quickly, so I have to go shopping a couple times.
A week, you mean?
Yeah, I have to
Okay.
pick it up a couple times. I live in
Okay,
the
so
city. That's not hard to do.
it's not hard to do. Okay. So then it's realistic, right? So it's
Yeah.
both achievable and it's realistic because it's not difficult for you to go shopping twice
Mm-hmm.
a week to get that mix. And then in terms
Yeah.
of so then you have the what was it called? The sandwich sprinkle, the spices and herbs.
Yeah, it's from Penzeys Spices. It's called sandwich sprinkle. I
I
sprinkle
know
it.
Pensies.
Yeah, yeah. I sprinkle it on top of the salad. Gives it a lot of flavor.
Okay. And so that's the kind of thing where you would just want to be, you want to make sure that you have your supplies. So if you're
Right.
running low, then you want to make sure that you have your supplies. And so in this case, thinking about doing something week by week is good too, because that's where you can say, well, do I have my sandwich sprinkle? And also, do I have my tahini?
Right.
And then, so you can think about your shopping needs for the week, and again, achievable and realistic tend to go hand in hand because can so you need those items, but can you get those items? So for you think that it is realistic to go shopping twice a week for the salad mix. And then so in terms of time sensitivity, so usually so we are kind of talking about a weekly basis. So let's try to
Mhm.
find that calendar. Okay, here we are. So let's say so we're on the 5th today, and so today's Tuesday. So you're gonna say, do I have so it sounds like the biggest challenge is the salad mix, right? Um,
Yeah. And then
okay,
there's also one other challenge. If I have the same thing 4 times a week, I might get a little tired of it. So I have to vary it.
true. So in that case, so in that case, then, you would think about maybe doing different everything. You could think about doing different types of dressing or
Uh-huh.
different types of greens or, salad mixes altogether.
Okay.
Um, and so, so again, so let's look at this week and can you go? So let's think about your standard green salad this week. But then
Uh-huh.
looking into next week, say maybe I want to have this my standard salad twice a week, but then I want to have a different type of salad um,
Mm-hmm.
next week. So you're going to think about when you'll go shopping for that. So you'll be setting your I mean, I know these are all SMART goals, but you'll be setting your you'll be breaking out your goals into more achievable things and or just more achievable more achievable steps or segments. And
Mm-hmm.
so let's say, well, next week I'm going to have my green salad, but I'm also going to have a salad with I don't know what's appealing to you. Like, would you want to have a mesclun mix with a different type of dressing?
Yeah, I could do that, or I get these things from Trader Joe's, these dumplings that you can microwave, and
Mhm.
underneath the dumplings I put like a whole ton of salad and it cooks it. in the microwave and it tastes good. I don't know if that's as healthy as eating raw, but
Well, I mean, I don't think you're doing a lot of processing and you're eating,
Yeah.
you're cooking, you're heating it,
Mhm.
but it's not undergoing a lot of processing, so you're still getting it. So I think, I think that's a good thing. I
Oh,
think that's a very, I think it's realistic, and I think that there are different ways of going about doing it. So, but like you can set your shopping goals every week since you're able to do the shopping.
mhm.
And then, if there's anybody on the call who feels that they're not able to do shopping, then, but you can, you can think about doing, delivery, like, um, I, I'm just trying to think of who
Oh,
delivers, like, Amazon. I know people tell me, like a lot of my clients tell me they do Amazon. And then, we do have a couple of comments, um, in the chat saying one trick to getting salad greens to last longer is put paper towels inside the bag. They also sell some specific sheets on Amazon, but using paper towels is just cheaper and probably better too. So those are our comments in the chat about that. So, again, that's something that we want to consider is just getting our greens to last, but also then we want to, we want to make sure that we're not getting bored with it. And then again, that's a nice way
right.
to think about working week by week.
Fresh Direct also delivers.
That's who I was thinking of. I couldn't
I
think
couldn't
of
remember
it. Okay. And then I guess I'll just ask Erin. I'm not sure if we're almost at time, I'm sure, but if anybody wants to ask any other, or does anybody else want to, does anybody else want to set SMART goals to something that they're thinking about for the holidays? And I am happy to take more questions. But okay, at this point, I can actually I can stop sharing, but I would just like to say thank you to everybody for attending. And I will be sending the slides out to Erin later today. And I did put my contact information here. So I am a senior nutritionist at God's Love We Deliver, and you can feel free to reach out to me there. I do
Will
see we
your
have,
contact information be in the email with the slides?
yes, I'm going to send the slides
Okay.
exactly as we see them.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, my pleasure. And I guess I do just want to check in with Erin.
Hi, you're all set. Thank you so
Oh,
much, everyone, for attending. And once we get the slides, they'll be sent out to everybody that attended. And I hope this helps you through this holiday season.
Thank you so much.
likewise. Likewise. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to stop sharing now.